Hello and welcome back to another part of this playthrough of this game. I'm here with Yoshi.
Hello. Pardon me. Hello. We'll edit that out in post.
No, there's no editing here. It's okay. This is a very casual playthrough. Anyways, yeah, we're playing 428 Shibuya Scramble, visual novel, pretty fun. Do you remember what happened last time?
The biggest thing I remember is that we found out that the guy with the weight loss energy drinks is like a total nutcase
Yeah.
who paid like thousands of dollars for those energy drinks, and he's like, "That's okay. I'm just gonna sell them for more thousands of dollars." So that guy's a freaking loser and a weirdo, and not great with the names, but there was a banana-loving detective.
Oh yeah. Kajiwara,
Who
I believe is his name.
Kajiwara, who's also kind of a nutcase and like doesn't want to let me leave to go talk to my boss about how I'm being blackmailed. And
Yeah, his whole.
so yeah, those are the two main threads I think from last week.
And I think we finished both Osawa and Tama's hour. So we have.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, we have Achi who's stuck in a keep out. And we have Kano and Minorikawa, which we have not been introduced to yet to explore. Any are you leaning, or which way are you leaning?
So we don't know Minorikawa, right?
Yeah. You want to check them out?
Yeah, let's check him out.
All right. Oh. I forgot to get a glass of water before we started. That's okay. I'll probably pick it up
I mean, you should...
on the next tip. I'll just let it sit.
Okay. I'm drinking a warm Coke like a German.
Speaking of tips, there's one right here. The Super Cub 90 raced down Route 246 towards Shibuya, which is a motorcycle. You can read that while I get a glass of water really quick.
All right, folks, this is a motorcycle. It's produced by Honda. It's got an 85 cubic centimeter engine. That sounds small? I don't know. It's a common sight around town. You know, it's often used by newspaper and postal guys. But many owners are big enthusiasts, sometimes even like swapping out parts, the handlebars, mufflers, give it a body repaint, resulting in, you know, fashionable bikes that don't even look like Super Cubs at first glance. So, pretty crazy stuff. 85 cubic centimeters.
Centimeters? I'm back, by the way.
Isn't that what that means? I don't want to do more bad, like, conversion math like I did on the last episode, but is a cubic centimeter not a milliliter? Meaning that the engine displacement of this Super Cub is actually like a quarter of the volume of the can of Coke that I'm drinking.
You're the math guy. I don't know. Speaking of of corrections, though, I just remembered that one guy's name with the afro that you were talking about. I was pronouncing his name wrong.
Oh, how is it pronounced?
What was it? I'm trying to remember his name though. My wife pointed it out because she was there while we were recording. It was like Yanagishita, I think. That's how I read it. I think it's supposed to be shita instead of shita.
That's what I was gonna guess. I was gonna say.
Yeah,
Yanagishita.
Yanagishita.
Because the I is kind of, yeah, Yanagishita. Yanagishita.
Yanagishita. Well, we won't have to deal with him. Hopefully, maybe. We'll see.
That guy's kind of cool though.
Super Cub 90 race down Route 246 toward Shibuya. How cool is this guy? The speedometer
He looks
remained
pretty cool.
at a steady 60 kilometers per hour.
Reminds me of that guy Snoopy was always trying to kill.
The Red Baron?
Yeah.
Pumping the gas harder was no use. This was as fast as the bike would go. How fast is 60 kilometers per hour?
It's not fast. It's quite slow. So this reinforces my idea that this is some dinky little thing. I mean, so 60 kilometers per hour, it's 5 kilometers to 3 miles. So, like, we're talking 36 miles an hour? 37, maybe?
It's funny, because, like, I've been living in Japan for a couple years now. And, you know, the numbers are generally the same when you're on the road. But it doesn't feel... I don't know. It's hard to, like, compare. You're driving, it's like, oh, we're going like 70 now. Nice. But then you think about it, and it's like, this is not that fast.
So you're saying people go the same numbers, but they're just kilometers instead of miles?
I think so. Probably not
So
on, like, the... whatever the interstate is called. Highway. But it's because, like, the roads are more windier and narrower, I imagine. I apologize to our viewers. We're spending, like, the first 5 minutes just stuck on this. Here we go.
Oh, this guy's sweet.
Minorikawa. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Shouted as he sped along.
Sped along slightly faster than, like, a very fast person could run.
Yeah, you voice this character.
Damn it! I'm not letting you die.
He jerked the handlebars and blew past a truck on the inside. The driver scowled at him as he shot by.
36 miles an hour.
Do you want to be the truck driver too, or should I?
I'll be a truck driver, yeah. You maniac, are you trying to get yourself killed? Just the opposite.
Minorikawa shouted back.
I'm saving lives.
The stoplight ahead turned red, cutting him off at the intersection.
Oh, come on.
He had no choice but to slam on the brakes, but his agitation boiled over as he waited for the signal to change again.
How long is this thing gonna stay red? Hurry up already.
He brought the bike right up to the very edge of the line, keeping the engine revved like a dragster ready to peel out.
Not on time is not in my dictionary.
The light turned red. Then Minorikawa's own light turned green at last. I guess the light turning red meant the opposite intersection.
The other one.
Yeah, the other one. He hit the accelerator as hard as he could. His engine died with a sputter.
What? Oh, come on. What the hell?
Car horns blared angrily behind him. In a fury, he pulled his bike over to the side of the road. No matter what he did, the engine refused to turn over. Was the problem with the spark plug? Maybe the battery? Whatever it was, he didn't have the time to figure it out now. With tears in his eyes, he left the bike, his companion of 10 years, abandoned on the roadside. He was about to break into a run when he saw a taxi dead ahead letting out a passenger. He hurried to hop into the cab.
Just head for Shibuya Station. I'll let you know exactly where once we get closer.
The taxi driver nodded coolly. Did you want to be the taxi driver?
Really cool.
Or...
you can be a taxi driver.
Okay. Of course, sir.
Yeah, he's so cool.
Of course, sir.
Those shades.
Yeah, that's cool. I know there's a button somewhere that I can like hide the text so we can see the image, but I don't know what it is on PC. Oh.
10 minutes.
Hmm.
I need you to get me there in 10 minutes.
The driver grimaced. I'm afraid getting there in 10 minutes is a bit.
15 then.
Sir, that's still...
Look, that's all the time I can afford.
Assuming traffic conditions cooperate, sir, then maybe. I can't make any promises. Minorikawa looked at the driver's ID photo above the fare meter. His name was Hachiro Kimizuka. He was a middle-aged fellow, looked a little rough around the edges.
Mr. Kimizuka, I chose you for this. You can do it.
Chose me? Sir, I'm pretty certain we met by chance.
Okay, sure. I suppose you could phrase it that way. Anyhow, can we get going?
Right, Kimizuka said with a faint sigh. I'll see what I can do. The taxi pulled away at a decent clip. Minorikawa's frantic journey had started 20 minutes earlier. He'd been at home, working on an interview piece. He clucked his tongue in annoyance as the ringing phone broke his train of thought. Why did someone always call right when the words were flowing? If he didn't keep getting interrupted, he probably could wrap this piece up in no time.
Be quiet.
He pointed at the telephone as he yelled.
I'm writing here.
But his shouting did nothing to silence the ringing. He didn't have much choice but to pick up.
Minorikawa speaking.
There was no response.
Hello?
He hesitated, ready to hang up. Was this a prank call? Do you want to be the other guy, or...?
Yeah, sure. It's me. It's Toyoma.
It was Teruo Toyama, the president of Heaven Publishing, which is a publishing company. They put out hard-hitting non-fiction books and tabloid-style scandal rags. The Invincible Journalist was a candidate for the Japan Non-Fiction Prize. Pretty cool.
Oh, what do you want? If this is about work, I'm already booked pretty full.
He'd taken work from Heaven Publishing on several occasions, but the pay was hardly competitive. Lately, he'd been turning them down a lot, so he hadn't heard from Toyama in a while.
No, this isn't work-related. Then what do you want? I'm kind of pressed for time here, working on some copy.
Minorikawa was in no mood to beat around the bush. It seemed like every conversation he had with Toyama went like this.
You're busy. That's good. Busy's good when you're a freelancer.
Toyama sounded unusually sympathetic. Minorikawa found it off-putting.
I hear sales have been good on your end.
He said cautiously.
With this month's 4-star general gossip and all.
4-Star General Gossip was a monthly magazine, Heaven Publishing's flagship publication. Oh, there's a picture. Focuses on the private lives of celebrities and politicians.
That's a tabloid, basically.
A tabloid. Most of the articles are random nonsense, but 1 out of every 100 contains an actual scoop. It had a small circulation and for the most part flew under the radar, but once in a while they'd land some big scoop and sell like crazy. This month's edition had come with a free scratch card, a gimmick that had moved 100,000 copies with ease.
5 winning symbols in a row wins 100,000 yen, was it?
Minorikawa asked. A weak, moist sound came through the receiver.
Or maybe that's me again. Hmm?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
Minorikawa.
yeah.
Baffled, Minorikawa listened more closely. It came again. Then again. It kind of sounded like sobbing. Okay, so it's not the other thing you're thinking of.
Okay. Mr. Toyama? Are you crying?
There was another soft sob, and then yet another.
What's going on? Where are you?
Minorikawa asked.
At the office.
Toyama managed. He let out another mewling whimper.
What's the matter? It's nothing. It's gotta be something. Come on, what is it?
Toyama gave no reply.
Mr. Toyama? Are you still there?
Silence.
What is it? What happened? Look, doesn't tell me anything. What the hell is going on?
Toyama squeaked out a drawn-out whine. Oh, I thought you were going to try to demonstrate.
I did. You didn't hear it?
I guess your microphone didn't catch or something.
It does. It's like, yeah, it's programmed to like tune that crap out. It was like,
Okay, we heard that
it
one.
was like more. It was quieter.
We got it.
Okay, I'm sick of this. I'm hanging up now.
Minorikawa was about to break the connection when he heard Toyama murmur.
The only thing I can do now is die.
The taxi lurched to a sudden stop as the driver slammed on the brakes. Minorikawa pitched forward, his face smacking against the back of the seat in front of him. Kimizuka stuck his head out the window. "Careful, buddy," he shouted at someone in the street ahead. "You're gonna get yourself killed." Minorikawa blinked the stars from his eyes and saw a man moving alongside the cab. The guy grabbed onto the handle of the back door.
Wait, who is it? Is this Kano or something?
Yeah, this is Kano.
Geez, what's Kano sound like? It's like, please, I
Yeah,
need you to
something
let
like
me
that.
have this cab.
Yeah. Something like that. A little whiny. A little dumb.
No way.
Minorikawa snapped. Just who did this guy think he was?
Please, I'm begging you here. Look, I'm in a hurry, pal. Get your own cab. I know how ridiculous it must sound, but please. This is really, really urgent. Urgent? Yes, it's a matter of life or death. Please.
The guy did look pretty desperate.
Look, I'm sorry, but I'm dealing with something urgent here, too. Then let me ride with you. I'll pay for the whole fare. My entire future's on the line here.
The guy sure was persistent. Maybe he was telling the truth. But Minorikawa had problems of his own.
Sorry, buddy. It's life or death on my end, too. I gotta look after me and mine. And this guy Toyama, who I don't really like very much. Right. So sorry to trouble you.
Finally, the guy gave up and shuffled away.
Guess it couldn't have been that much of a life-ending crisis after all.
Minorikawa checked his wristwatch.
Oh, damn it. That just cost us 5 minutes.
"I'll try to make it up, sir," the driver called back. The taxi lurched into motion, the engine quickly revving up to speed. Turkey. Once inside the building, he avoided the elevator in favor of rushing up the stairs. Heaven Publishing rented out the 3rd and 4th floors. In all likelihood, Toyama would be at the editing department of 4-Star General Gossip on the 4th floor. When he got there, however, the door was locked.
Mr. Toyama? Hey, Mr. Toyama!
He shouted and banged, but there was no reply. Something was seriously wrong. Minorikawa took a deep breath and then kicked the door in.
Whoa!
The sight as he stepped into the office filled him with horror. Minorikawa clutched the sides of his head.
I'm too late. Oh no, if only I'd gotten here a little sooner.
Bad end.
We didn't have any decisions!
Minorikawa rushed to Heaven Publishing as fast as he could, but he didn't get there in time to save Toyama. And, sad to say, it was really all Kano's fault. Why does Kano want a taxi so badly? Check his 1110's timestamp, and the situation might become clearer. Alright, so we have to go to Kano.
Alright.
What do you think of Minorikawa? First impression.
He seems pretty cool. He's got those cool goggles. He kind of sounds like Dr. Phil.
I think you gave Achi a similar voice. Although I guess Achi's is more dopey.
He's just more like, hey, I'm Hachiendo. Hey, damn it, I'm trying to save lives here.
Last we saw Kano, he was chasing after this bad guy, and he lost both the guy and the briefcase. Remember that?
Yeah, sort of.
Like, he threw the briefcase off the side of a bridge, and there's a motorcyclist. And then he's like, oh man. Alright, we'll just jump in.
Yeah, we'll get it.
As he wandered through the back alleys, Kano gritted his teeth. Going after the guy on the bike had been a bad judgment call. By the time he got back up onto the pedestrian overpass, the man who'd thrown the attaché case was almost out of sight. Kano prided himself on being fleet of foot, but he knew even he would never catch the guy before he disappeared. He'd followed the culprit as far as the alleys, but there he'd lost him completely. All he could do now was hope one of his colleagues caught the man on the motorcycle. Kuze's voice crackled through the earpiece. Mobile Command Center, calling all units. The suspect on the motorcycle has handed off the case to an accomplice in Miyashita Park, another foreigner.
For real?
Kano muttered. One thing immediately struck him as strange.
Why hand the case off to someone else at all? Why not just escape on the bike?
The man with the motorcycle dumped the bike and fled on foot. We've retrieved the bike and run the plate, and we've determined it was a stolen vehicle.
They got computers and stuff.
Yeah.
That's good.
Cool. We still don't have enough details to positively ID the suspect. The suspect now carrying the attaché case is heading through Dogenzaka, also on foot. We've got him under observation. Dogenzaka, huh?
Yeah.
That wasn't too far from where Kano was now. It looks like we're dealing with a foreign crime syndicate that's familiar with Shibuya. All units head to Dogenzaka, but do not, I repeat, do not attempt to apprehend the suspect with the case. Let's see where he goes. Kano nodded to himself. Without knowing more of the crook's MO, letting this guy go for now was probably the only right call. I just want you all to know one last thing. Kuze's tone grew more solemn. Whatever happens, I know I can count on each and every one of you. Don't disappoint me. Over and out! Kano had the unsettling feeling that the message had been meant for him.
Right, it's now or never.
The sudden appearance of this syndicate and its bizarre actions were rapidly moving things beyond the jurisdiction of both the MPD and the local police. Mustering his resolve, Kano headed for Dogenzaka. Kano pulled his cell phone out of his pocket. It was Rumi calling. She knew full well he wasn't supposed to take private calls while he was working a case. Maybe it was an emergency? He decided to pick up.
Rumi?
Who wants to voice his girlfriend?
I could be the GF, I guess.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Are you in the middle of something right now? Kind of. Is this an emergency? Well, yeah. So I'm in Shibuya right now, and, Shibuya?
Why did she have to be in Shibuya now, of all times?
So, my father came down from Nagano all of a sudden. What?
Rumi's father, Shizuo, had been staunchly opposed to the two of them getting married. Kano had visited his home many times, but the man had never even deigned to meet him.
Yeah, he told me he wants to meet with you. What? Now?
Kano blurted the words out with more alarm than he'd intended.
I told him you were busy working, but he said he'd wait. This can't be happening.
Kano whimpered to himself.
I'm sorry. I know he can be demanding. That's not the issue.
Her dad offering to wait made it harder for him to refuse.
All right,
Kano said.
but I'll have to call you back later, okay? I really am sorry. I'll be at a cafe called Lautrec. It's by the train station.
Rumi hung up. For a long moment, Kano stood in a daze, staring at his phone, as if keeping up with the case wasn't stressful enough. At last, he stumbled into motion, but even as he scoured Dogenzaka for any sign of the criminal, his mind remained fixed on the meeting with Rumi's dad. There was no way of knowing when he'd be done with his casework today. But could he really pass up on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get her father's approval for her hand in marriage? Once in a lifetime. Odds are that this will not be the only once-in-a-lifetime experience Detective Kano winds up having today.
There's a little foreshadowing.
Maybe he could slip away for just a bit. There are plenty of detectives still tailing the suspect. Taking 15 minutes or so to meet with Shizuo wouldn't be such a big deal, would it? Alright, here's our choice. Should we go meet the GF and her pops, or focus on the job?
Yeah, we could use a break from all this police chase stuff. Let's go meet the GF and her pops.
Alright.
It's now or never.
Kano decided. His future happiness depended on winning over Shizuo. He might not have the opportunity later if the kidnapping case wound up going south. He'd just have to make sure he didn't linger too long. He was trying to decide the best way to save as much time as possible when he caught sight of a taxi passing by.
No,
He stepped out into the street to flag the cab down.
it's not good.
The station wasn't too far away, but it would be faster to take a car than run there. The taxi screeched to a halt. "Careful, buddy," shouted the cab driver through the open window. "You're gonna get yourself killed." Looking more closely, Kano saw that there was already someone in the back seat.
Well, crap.
He hadn't considered that the cab might already be taken. Still, he didn't have time to wait for another to come along. Kano leaned in close to the back door of the taxi.
Please, I need you to let me have this cab.
Beggars couldn't be choosers after all.
No way.
Snapped the passenger. He didn't seem the genial type.
Please, I'm begging you here. Look, I'm in a hurry, pal. Get your own cab. I know how ridiculous this must sound, but please. This is really, really urgent. Urgent? Yes, it's a matter of life and death. Please. Look, I'm sorry, but I'm dealing with something urgent here, too. Then let me ride with you. I'll pay for the whole fare. My entire future's on the line here. Sorry, buddy. It's life or death on my end, too. I gotta look after me and mine.
Kano could see this was going nowhere.
Right. So sorry to trouble you.
Kano stepped back in frustration. The taxi sped away. Kano scanned the area looking for other cabs. Instead, he spotted the man with the attaché case. It was a stroke of dumb luck, but Kano wasn't going to lose sight of him now. I guess we just killed Toyama again.
Yeah.
Did you want to change it really quick, or keep going until we finish this? Because we could
What are
go
you
back and change
supposed
it.
to do? I don't know. What's like? What is it? What do you normally do? Do you quit if you know it's bad? Or?
I think when I played, I just wrote it out. So I'm fine with writing it out.
Okay, we can just see what happens here.
Okay. It was a stroke of dumb luck, but Kano wasn't going to lose sight of him now. He decided to follow. Further up along Dogenzaka, in the direction the perp was heading, was where Yamate-dori joined Route 246. Maybe the guy was planning to meet up with a getaway car?
No, wait, hold on.
If that were the plan, why would the gang have ditched the motorcycle earlier? Kano started tailing the man, racking his brain all the while. The suspect turned down a narrow side road. He wasn't heading toward Yamate-dori or Route 246 at all, but back toward Shibuya Station. What in the world was going on? It was starting to feel like the crooks were just messing with the investigations team. Kano radioed Kuze on the wireless, which is, you know, just tiny walkie-talkies.
Sweet.
Sorry, I just remembered that tips were for sipping.
Huh. The what?
Tips were for water breaks for me.
Oh. Yeah, so basically they got a special channel for kidnapping, and so that's the one that we're on.
That's pretty interesting. How often do you think the kidnapping channel gets used?
Probably like less often than the memes channel.
Yeah.
Sir, I don't think there's any point in seeing where this guy leads us anymore.
That's not your call to make. Keep watching him.
Sir, this is a waste of time. That girl might be in danger if...
Kano's argument was cut short as he saw the man hand off the attaché case to yet another foreigner.
Again?
How many times were these criminals going to pull this trick? The detectives broke into two groups to follow both of the men. Kano followed the man with the attaché case, who eventually led him back to the area around Shibuya Station. Urumi and Shizuo would be waiting at a nearby cafe right now. Kano tried to remember the name. That's right, it was called Lautrec. The name of the cafe where college student Ryoko Kakinuma works as a waitress. It's named after a French painter. Henri de Toulouse Lautrec. He kept his eye out for a place by that name as he tailed the target. Before long, he did spot the cafe. Its large plate glass window offered a view of the cozy interior. The sign out front read, Lautrec. Looked like this was the place. The man with the case was at the intersection, waiting for the light to change. Kano took the opportunity to peer inside. He spotted Rumi right away. She was facing away from him. So the man seated across from her must be her father. Kano realized he'd never even seen a picture of him. Shizuo grew organic produce up in Nagano nowadays, but until 2 years ago, he'd been a detective with the investigation division.
So this joint's responsible for handling crimes such as murder, kidnapping, arson within Tokyo Metropolis, and truly exceptional officers are assigned to this division. Regularly dispatched to various regional task forces, where they often prove critical. And basically, the position of section chief is traditionally only given to dedicated folks who are well versed with the crime scenes and administration.
Oh, was he?
So this guy's another cop.
Ex-cop, I guess. A detective.
Now he does the vegetables.
Yeah. He's like, screw crime. I'm going to make tomatoes. Rumi looked up to her father for his distinguished police career, and always spoke quite highly of him. Kano had figured that if he became a policeman, Rumi might appreciate that. It was this simple impulse that had led him to join the force. He had also figured that public servants could stay afloat even in times of recession, and that his physical training would serve him well in such a line of work. Once he was a policeman, he'd thought, he could approach Shizuo with his head held high and ask for his blessing in marrying his daughter. But after Rumi graduated from university, Shizuo had up and retired from police work. Even Rumi didn't know why he'd made the decision. Kano had traveled to Nagano many times to ask Shizuo for permission to marry her, but the only response he ever got was, who's the dad?
I'm not giving away my daughter to any cop.
Kano had never even gotten past the intercom before her father turned him away. Years on the force had nearly made Kano lose sight of what had driven him to become a policeman in the first place. And now, the chance to meet Shizuo face to face had finally come. He peered intently into the cafe. Across from Rumi sat an older man with a grim expression. Dudum! Just who was this hard-faced fellow? It took a lot to rattle Kano, but the guy looked scary. Could this really be his sweet little Rumi's father? The prospect of meeting with him later filled Kano with sudden dread. The man went into JR Shibuya Station and stood before the ticket machine. It looked like he was planning on boarding a train. A scene from a popular movie about a kidnapping sprang into Kano's mind, where the crook had made off with the ransom money after it was tossed out the window of a train. What if this guy managed to get outside the dragnet and pull a stunt like that?
It looks like the suspect is going to board a train.
Kano informed Kuze over the wireless. Make sure you stay on his tail. Apparently Kuze still wanted to string the perp along for a bit. I think this is Kuze, right? We've got lizards ready to pursue. We'll reestablish our dragnet around whatever station he gets off at. Lizards are Japanese police lingo for motorcycle squads. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
What do
There's
they
a lot
call,
of stuff about these Japanese that I didn't know.
What do you think they call that in America? Just no,
we got the choppers.
the choppers.
We got the choppers.
Grab the Harleys. I don't know. I feel like this is only based on what I've seen in, those cop movies. But it's usually just cop cars, right? It's just a squad of cop cars.
There's motorcycle cops. There was one who used to like to write me tickets when I was teaching in Virginia for having expired registration. I don't think they do anything like important though. I think they're just like they just kind of like trawl around and then like write people tickets and stuff. Which is what most cops do. So
Although
I don't know.
I guess it does make sense, like reading. It's to pursue suspects in urban settings. It makes more sense to have motorcycles in the city than cop
Yeah,
cars.
you could go down an alley or something.
Yeah, you can bike up the stairs, down the subway, you know. The man purchased a ticket from the machine and passed through the gate. There was no way to tell what station he'd bought a ticket for, but it looked like he was heading clockwise along the Yamanote line loop. Kano used his prepaid card and made his way through the ticket gate as well.
Officers don't actually get free rides. They actually have prepaid cards. And they're provided ahead of time.
That's pretty cool. Very handy.
Oh yeah.
An announcement chime signaled the imminent arrival of a train up on the platform. The man made his way up the stairs, looking calm and composed. He showed no sign of checking for pursuers. Kano hurried after him. The man stopped at the very edge of the platform to await the train.
Not ideal.
There was no way for Kano to get close without sticking out like a sore thumb. The train glided up to the platform. The man gave a quick look around as he stepped aboard. Kano followed. Trains on the Yamanote line didn't stop for long, and soon they were on their way. Glancing around, Kano noticed other MPD investigators who had slipped aboard the train as well. Alright, do we see any? Maybe that guy with the hair on the right is one.
Oh, I was gonna say the guy on the left in the corner.
With his chin, hand to his chin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you see how big that guy's hair is, though? He's behind the guy with the
No.
beanie.
I don't know. I'm not sure who you're talking about.
I wish I knew what the button was.
Between the two poles?
No, just right of those two poles. That big
Oh.
shape is his hair. I think.
Is that really that? Is that?
Unless it's someone else
big?
standing behind him. Maybe I'm just looking at it wrong. Yeah, now that I think about it, it's probably just a guy facing out the window behind him.
But that's not on top of the guy sitting down. Is that what you thought?
That's what I thought, yeah.
No. That would be some like Dr. Seuss hair.
The suspect stood behind the driver's compartment, staring contemplatively at the scenery outside. The man's composure only served to rattle Kano
Pardon me.
more. A man in a gaudy necktie walked past Kano, talking on his cell phone. Shh. Do you want to be this guy, or should I be this guy?
You could be this guy.
Okay. Let's see. What does his voice sound like? Yes, everything's going fine on this end, he said. There's no need to worry. In his other hand, he carried the same sort of attaché case as the man they were tailing. He headed right toward the driver's compartment and stood next to the suspect.
Well, now, that's not suspicious.
Kano leaned his head suddenly, straining to make out what he could of the phone conversation at the other end of the car. Yes, of course. 225 pages, all fully proofread.
225?
Article 225 of the Penal Code of Japan details kidnapping for profit and kidnapping for ransom. Oh, so 225 is shorthand for kidnapping. What is that? In Japanese, is
Yeah.
that Nini Go?
If that's how they say numbers, not if they don't actually say 225.
Yeah, I don't know if they would say 225 or 225. That was police jargon for kidnapping. Was this guy in cahoots with the kidnapper? Maybe the criminals had planned an attaché case swap. Kano watched the newcomer like a hawk. But rather than making contact with the suspect, the man turned around and strolled back the way he'd come. He hadn't done anything suspicious at all. Yes, right. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Understood. Kano stole a glimpse of the man's face as he passed. He stopped and looked at Kano, seemingly aware that he was being watched. Kano decided to... Ooh. What do you want to do?
Stare this guy down. This freaking weird guy. He looks like a creep.
Kano decided to stare him down. Ah, my apologies, the man said. He shut his phone with a click. I know it's rather rude to talk on one's cell phone when you're on a train. That's just common decency. The man affected a smile, then headed back to the car from which he'd come. That's just common decency.
Yeesh. Guess I overreacted.
I think this is you.
You gotta stop staring at everyone.
An oddly dressed passenger murmured into Kano's ear.
Oh, is this, my boy?
Yeah, that's your boy.
Blend into your surroundings more. Sasayama? When did you get here?
His partner had somehow found time to change his disguise.
Yeah, he's the cosplay detective.
The steely expression on his face was at odds with his anime nerd getup. Anime. Kano had seen Sasayama disguise himself as plenty of things throughout the years. Disguise. Alright. We got a video. It's quite rare for Sasayama to actually wear a suit. On the rare occasions when he does, and he is walking the halls of his home precinct, he frequently goes unrecognized. Here are some of Sasayama's costume designs from his evidence notebook. I'm just going to play through them. No, I'll pause at each one. So we got Santa. Keep presents in bag to calm down children in case of emergency. Alright, this is his anime nerd getup. Don't forget awkward smile. Do you think it's going too far to roll up the overalls?
No, I think it's just right.
Tragic expression. Disguise for stakeouts at dockside warehouses. Let coworkers know beforehand so as not to be mistaken for a real thing. Handcuffs up sleeves. Arrest crooks while practicing discipline. For nighttime stakeouts. Emphasize bulginess in final version.
Oh yeah.
Plenty of exposure. Pretty cool. You think we'll see any of these later on?
Yeah, my guess is that we will.
I hope so. Chef, magician, samurai, and an astronaut to name a few. But this was a new extreme, even for him. When he first joined the force, Kano had found Sasayama's costuming antics amusing, wondering where he managed to find his outfits. But lately, his quirk had become tedious.
You like the ocean? Huh? Never mind.
Sasayama pulled a small bottle from his breast pocket.
Drink this while you can. Guessing you haven't eaten. Huh? What's this? The least I could do.
He handed Kano the bottle, then slipped away into the next compartment. He'd pulled an all-nighter and hadn't eaten, so he was glad to have something. He took a sip.
Are you allowed to drink on a train?
I don't know. I know there's a
All right.
no smoking sign. And I think it's generally frowned upon to have phone calls in the train. But I don't know about drinks. Whatever this was, it was bland. It almost didn't taste like anything. Just what had Sasayama given him?
What the heck? Anything's better than nothing.
He brought the bottle to his lips and chugged the contents down. He suddenly got a massive head rush. He felt a heat like a burning that spread from his insides throughout his whole body. No, that wasn't right. It was an ache. It was a ferocious ache. A burning that spread from his insides to his fingertips. And there was pain. A numbing that spread from his insides all the way down to his toes. Burning, aching, hurting. Burning, aching, hurting. Burning, aching, hurting. Twitchy, itchy, dizzy, sleepy, chilly, willy-nilly. This was not good. This was super duper not good. He broke into a cold sweat, his forehead drenched, his body damp and clammy all over. He felt his grip on consciousness slipping.
Sasayama, what the hell did you do to me?
With bleary eyes, he squinted to read the writing on the bottle. Oh, that's you. Sorry.
B-U-R-N?
After a scant few letters, Kano blacked out. Whoops. So he's dead. Kano blacked out after drinking an unknown substance without checking to see what it was. What he drank, it turns out, was a free sample of something called Burning Hammer. But don't blame Sasayama. He was just passing along a sample he got from someone in a mascot costume. All right. So, Minorikawa and Kano are both currently at bad ends, but we know how to fix them, right?
Yes. We need to blow off Shizuo.
Blow off Shizuo to fix Minorikawa, and Tama has to change who she gives the thing to. Who do you want to fix first, and then we'll jump over?
Let's stay with this thread.
Okay. So where's Tama? Is it this one? Yeah. All right. Up. Clutching free sample in my furry fist, I try to force it off on the businessman to my left. Here you go, sir. A free sample of Burning Hammer, the latest and greatest diet drink. The businessman flashes me a look of utter contempt, and makes a point of avoiding me as he slips past. Bam. There goes the wind right out of my sails. I wonder how the other mascot is doing about now. I guess...
There's a sail. Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I think it's locked in now. Yeah, it should be locked in now. Did you want to still read that sentence?
There's a sales demo happening today at 1 o'clock at the Nokane building.
Yep, Kano's has changed. He's all good.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Did you want to keep staring at this guy down, or...
Don't we need to go back and blow off Shizuo? Or is that's
you want to fix them both? Sorry. I just fixed one. We can blow off Shizuo right now. Right now, I've got a job to focus on.
No, right now I've got a job to focus on.
Kano shook his head to clear out the foolish impulses. What the hell had he been thinking? A girl's life was on the line. Marrying Gurumi was more important to him than anything, but now wasn't the time. Besides, now that he thought about it, running out on a critical investigation to meet with the old man probably wasn't going to score him any points. Gurumi's dad didn't strike him as someone who'd approve of shirking one's responsibilities. Kano would just have to wrap up this kidnapping case a little ahead of schedule. Then he could have a proper sit-down with Shizuo. As he considered his plan, he caught sight of the man with the attaché case walking by. And then I think we're back? Yeah, we're back. Okay, so you wanted to continue with Kano, or, Yeah, that's what you said, right?
Yeah, let's stick with Kano.
Okay. You want to stare at this guy again?
Yeah.
Okay. Ah, my apologies. I know it's rather rude to talk to one's on one's cell phone when you're on a train. That's just common decency. Ding!
Sheesh. Guess I overreacted. You gotta stop staring at everyone.
An oddly dressed passenger murmured into Kano's ear.
Blend into your surroundings more. Sasayama, when did you get here?
His partner had somehow found time to change his disguise. The steely expression on his face was at odds with his anime nerd getup. Kano had seen Sasayama disguise himself as plenty of things throughout the years. Santa Claus, Yakuza member, Japanese folk singer, and a Buddhist priest to name a few. But this was a new extreme even for him. Oh. We wouldn't have seen those drawings.
Oh, what a shame.
If we didn't have him drink that, so I guess that's pretty good. When he first joined the force, Kano had found Sasayama's costuming antics amusing, wondering where he'd managed to find his outfits. But lately, his quirk had become tedious.
Concentrate. Oh no, this is Sasayama, right?
I think so.
Concentrate. Keep your eyes peeled.
Sasayama gave Kano a pat on the backside and slipped away into the into the next car. The suspect, meanwhile, was still staring out the window. The announcer's electronic voice filled the train compartment. Next stop, Harajuku.
Oh.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. No, it's okay. I was gonna do the same thing.
Did you want to do the second one? I did the first
okay.
sentence.
Next stop, Harajuku. Huh?
Kano almost cried out. The suspect was moving toward the exit door. Apparently, he was only taking the train one station down the line. The train pulled into Harajuku Station and the man got off. Ooh.
Alright, this is the area east of Japan Railway Harajuku Station. It used to be a bustling Shukuba post station where folks should rest and on their journey, but in modern times it just bustles with high schoolers in their flashy youth fashion. So there's like clothes and fast food and cutting edge trends tend to get their start right here.
Cool.
That's
However,
Harajuku for you.
The high school students I see are just in uniform. So I guess that's the style, that's the fashion of this point in time. The detectives following him disembarked accordingly. The suspect walked along the platform and took his seat on an empty bench. Was he checking to see if he had a tail? Sneaking around on the platform at a station where you just got off was pretty unusual behavior. Not wanting to arouse the man's suspicion, the investigators from the MPD made their way down the stairs as inconspicuously as they could. Kano, however, had a sudden inspiration and went to speak to one of the station attendants.
Oh no. Sorry to bother you, but I think I left something on the train just now.
He tried to keep an eye on the man on the bench as he fed his story to the attendant. The suspect sat silently on the bench, attaché case clutched securely in his arms. He didn't really look like he was checking for a tail. Was he waiting here for someone else then? Before long, a train heading counterclockwise around the loop arrived. The man rose from the bench and stepped up to the boarding area.
Wait, what the heck?
If this guy got on the counterclockwise train, wouldn't that just take him right back to Shibuya Station? The man boarded the train. Kano had no choice but to follow suit. Was this guy playing them? The suspect got off again once the train reached Shibuya. All he'd done was go to Harajuku and come right back. Kano reported into Kuze.
The suspect has returned to Shibuya Station.
Acknowledged. Keep tailing him. Kano felt himself growing increasingly paranoid. This criminal organization didn't seem too keen on getting away. And here was HQ, giving these guys free rein. Something was off. He was sure of that. As he tailed the mark, Kano took out his phone. What were Tatsuno's instincts about the case right now? I think I read that with a odd inflection.
That's okay.
If the senior detective had any advice, Kano would love to hear it. He dialed Tatsuno's number. The line rang a few times, but nobody picked up. Probably he was too busy seeing to Hitomi's safety. Kano felt bewildered. They'd been letting the suspect lead them around for over an hour now. During an abduction case, you generally didn't update the victim's family on any developments in case they tried to interfere. Kano could only imagine what the Osawa family was going through right now. After a short walk from Shibuya Station, the attaché case was handed off yet again. This time, the recipient was a tall, dark-skinned man. Again, the Shibuya-based task force split into two groups in order to tail both suspects. Kano stuck with the man who had the case. As the previous man had done, the newest suspect wandered around Dogenzaka for a while. Repeatedly looping around and around the same locations was a weirdly roundabout way to make a series of handoffs. I think this is you with a British accent.
Excuse me, detective?
Kano turned around with a start.
Oh, hey, he said. I know you.
It was Leland Palmer, the lecturer who had been an eyewitness to the kidnapping. The man practically radiated concern.
How is Maria doing? Is she alright? I am very, worried for her.
His Japanese was more halting now.
My heart, it is with her family.
Kano gave a quick look around. It didn't appear that they were being watched. Ooh. What do you want to do?
Let's talk to this goofy guy a little bit. He might know something.
Maybe Palmer knew more than he'd told the police earlier. If Kano talked to him now, he might get some additional clues.
Actually, Leland, do you mind if I ask you a few more questions about the party where the kidnapping occurred?
Leland squared his shoulders.
No, please, ask me anything. Do you know what time Maria showed up at the event?
Leland hesitated, thinking.
Probably around 6 o'clock. She was there when it started. Was there anyone else there who stood out? Stood out? How? Like someone you usually wouldn't expect to see there.
Leland tilted his head.
No, I don't think so.
Sorry.
Everyone there was a student from my class, including the exchange students. Not much new here.
Kano thought. He decided to ask one last question.
Did you happen to hear why Hitomi was running late in the first place? Oh no. Sorry, I'm not very helpful, am I?
Leland dipped his head in apology.
It's alright. Thank you for your cooperation. Please help Maria. I will.
Kano parted ways with Leland and went back to tailing his suspect. Oh. He pulled his phone from his pocket. It was Illumi again. It was weird that she'd called twice when she knew he was in the middle of something important. Had something happened while she was waiting at the cafe with Shizuo? Kano picked up hurriedly.
What's the matter? What's the matter? You know what the matter is.
Rather than Rumi's soft soprano, it was a threatening, masculine voice that came over the phone.
Uh-oh.
Kano felt his whole body stiffen with dread.
Is this my father-in-law speaking? Don't remember being anyone's father-in-law.
The speaker's tone was firm and flat.
No, I know.
Kano found himself at a loss for words.
So you're dating my daughter, huh? Sir, yes, sir.
Kano barely squeaked out his reply.
Thinking about getting married? Yes, sir. And speaking of which, I'd love the chance to sit down and have a nice long... Then how long you gonna keep me waiting? Hurry up and get your ass over here.
Oh, how very much Kano wished he could do exactly that.
Sir, I would, but... Forget it.
The words came in an angry huff.
You can't have her. Goodbye. This guy's such a tool. What? Sir, please wait.
As Kano cried in desperation, he heard Rumi's voice on the other end of the line.
Dad, you can't use my phone like that. You were taking too long in the bathroom. Give it back. Rumi?
Kano tried and failed to keep the heartbreak out of his voice.
Sweetie, what's wrong? Your father just said that he doesn't want us getting married. What? Dad? What did you say to my boyfriend? Listen to you. Calling that boy little pet names and whatnot. I think you're a little bitch. I think you're a little too attached. Daddy, how you met him? That's why I told you to have him come see me. How long's he gonna make me wait? He's at work though. I mean,
Kind of listened as the two.
It's Japan. Don't people take their work really seriously?
Kind of listened as the two argued on the other end of the phone. I wonder what day is it. It is. Is it a Saturday? It can't be a Saturday.
It's a weekday.
The phone must be lying somewhere between them.
Could this get any more awkward? Rumi, I'm so sorry.
Kano shouted apologetically into the mouthpiece.
This is all my fault. Please, you don't have to fight like this.
The phone clattered as Rumi scrambled to bring it to her cheek.
No, I'm the one who should be sorry. Sorry for what?
Oh. It was Shizuo again, grumbling in the background.
You have nothing to apologize for. I'll deal with my father.
Rumi said hastily.
You just focus on work, sweetie. I know you're in the middle of something really important. Thanks, Rumi.
Kano was legitimately touched.
I'll do my best. Even though I kind of suck at my job.
Kano hung up and went back to the task at hand, more determined than ever. For Rumi's sake, not to mention the victims, he needed to focus on cracking this case. The man he was tailing was walking several meters ahead. There was no telling when Kuze might give the arrest order. Kano braced himself to spring into action the very instant the order came down. Mobile command to all units! Once more, the director's voice came in over the wireless. Was it time to make the arrest at last? We've identified the man who first picked up the attaché case at the statue of Hachiko. By the statue of Hachiko. No arrest yet then, but still, a crucial development. His name is Tariq Al-Karawan. He's got priors for larceny, illegal possession of narcotics, you name it. He belongs to a foreign criminal syndicate that's operating in Shibuya. Kano felt his apprehension rising. Appreciation. Apprehension. If this syndicate was behind the kidnapping, they were anything but amateurs. And though they might be leading the police on a wild goose chase, they certainly weren't playing around. Oh, we made it to the end.
Cool.
Nice. So we still have Minorikawa, and then we have to find a way to break... Wait a minute. Did these change? I think these changed a little bit. I don't know how. So we could go back to Tama or Osawa at the moment.
I think that might be all I can do for now.
Okay.
I'm a little sleepy. I don't know if it's this daylight saving or I don't know what's going on.
That's fine. So, I guess something that unlocked with Minorikawa might have changed something with Osawa and Tama. So those are our options.
Pardon me.
What do you think so far? Any, impressions, theories, whatnot?
I think that I'm intrigued by this Toyota guy who killed himself. I think that might be important. I like this asshole dad who's like, because has completely unreasonable expectations. He thinks he can just show up at a cafe and like this guy who's like a cop can just like skip work and stuff to go talk to him. That guy's pretty cool. I like that the chicken drink is still floating around. A lot of good threads here. Haven't heard from Ashi Endo in a while, which is a bummer.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll crop up again soon.
Yeah, once I think sometime we'll unlock his keep out. It's probably somewhere deep in Minorikawa's storyline.
That's the guy who's gonna save Toyama?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cause we brought everyone else to be continued. Although something changed with Osawa and Tama's, but yeah. Cool. Well, that's the video. thanks for watching. Catch you next week, probably. Probably.
Yeah, see you folks.
Have a wonderful day, and do we have like a sign off? Did we make one?
No. We not have not. No. No sign off yet.
Don't forget to always roll up your overalls. It's not taking it too far. Is that good?
It's perfect. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Alright. Catch you guys later.